Large parts of Ireland's laws around licensing for the sale and consumption of alcohol are over 100 years old, some parts of them almost 200 years old, inherited from Westminster at a time of unity with Great Britain and Ireland. Today, however, the Cabinet has approved a major overhaul of those laws, having them all codified into one simpler, easier to understand law to try and update and revive Ireland's flagging nightlife sector. Under these plans, every pub in the country will be allowed to open at 10:30 in the morning. That's 2 hours earlier than they're currently allowed to open on Sundays, and remain open until 12:30. That's an hour later than they're currently forced to close. But bars can also apply for a late licence, allowing them to stay open until 2:30. And nightclubs, if they abide by certain terms and conditions, could be allowed to serve until 5 o'clock in the morning and only close their doors at 6. Something which may raise concerns among some, but which is being backed by the Taoiseach.
I know people will raise safety concerns, but I don't think the current situation where everyone empties out onto the streets at roughly the same time is good, and this will result in more staggered nights. And crucially, it is also about improving our nighttime economy, a project that began under the last government under Minister Madigan. I don't see why the nightlife that we offer people in Ireland shouldn't be as good as anywhere in the world.
There is no immediate timeline for when all of this will be implemented. This was included in the government's list of priority legislation, meaning it was expected to be published this side of Christmas. The government right now is only saying that it plans for these laws to be enacted sometime in the middle of 2023, with no firmer timetable in the meantime as to when exactly these changes might take full effect.
Gavin Riley reporting there. Well, there's been mixed reaction to the proposals. For more, let's go live now to our reporter Paul Quinn. And Paul, the move has been welcomed by publicans, but Alcohol Action Ireland saying it will actually increase public disorder.
Yeah, that's right, Colette. And look, as Gavin mentioned, some of these licensing laws have been in place now for some 200 years. Not surprising, publicans, those working in the nighttime economy, have welcomed these proposed reforms, saying it brings them in to the 21st century and in line with other European countries. Now, we've been speaking to people here on the streets of Dublin to get their reaction.
It's a great idea, obviously, for the economy and stuff, but in terms of can the city handle it logistically? I mean, we have to upgrade our public transport system.
It's nice to give the option to students so that they can get a bit of a social life, because for the past few years they haven't had anything at all.
I think the changes are really promising. I think a big part of it doesn't mean that necessarily like everyone's going to stay until 6, but like to actually stagger the time that people are coming out. I think that'll come a long way to solving like a lot of antisocial behaviour problems that happen with everyone getting out at like 2:30 at the same time.
Now, I think there's no doubt that these proposed reforms of the licensing laws are dividing people and different industry stakeholders. Alcohol Action Ireland saying it has serious concerns around extending licensing hours. Now, in a statement, it says that there is clear evidence from multiple other jurisdictions that increased availability of alcohol leads to a range of harms, such as increased levels of violence, public disorder, hospital admissions and significant additional pressure on public services. Now, that's something that we put to Donal O'Keefe from the Licensed Vintners Association, which represents pubs and nightclubs in the Dublin area.
We have been calling for strict conditionality around these licences. We remain to see that detail, but we were confident that will be in place. Publicans have a duty of care under their licence to run the business responsibly. We have no doubt that our members, the late bar and nightclub operators in Dublin, will take this very seriously and will do a good job in terms of managing the trade late at night. That spreading out of closing times is a positive, we think. It'll make it easier for public transport, easier to get taxis, and we think that'll help improve the public order situation in Dublin.
Now, like all of these changes, the devil really is in the detail. All of the stakeholders are currently being briefed at the Department of Justice behind me, and we should get further details later this afternoon.